to build a Magic the Gathering deck. Now, if you've seen part 1 of what to do, don't buy this and build a deck out of. That's dumb. I mean, you can buy this, but it's not a good purchase, if I'm being honest. I have 2 of them, and I have one that's still in package. Like, all these cards are just in the plastic still, and this is the promo. Everything except the 2 booster packs are in here. Booster packs. Now, what you need to do is find colors that you think can fit your playstyle. Now, you're probably going to need someone else to help you. You're probably going to need another person that plays Magic or is learning with you. Now, starting colors. The first starting color I would recommend is red. Powerful, lots of cheap cards, and efficient cards. Haste is very common with red cards. It's actually more of, it's not as common as I'm making it sound. There, that's what I'm looking for. And, well, you just need to start somewhere. So, I have a box of sleeved and unsleeved red cards. Let's go through them. None of these are in standard, actually. So this deck that I'm about to imagine in my head isn't expensive, even with some of the Planeswalker cards here, because there's a Planeswalker in here that's worth $4. So first, I need to sort cards by color. But you just said that was a red deck. Now, let me explain that. There are 5 colors in Magic, but there's also colorless. Now, colorless is helpful because there are cards. Choose a card color. You as a player cannot take damage from the chosen color. Now, there are ways around this rule, like with the Eldrazi, they have an ability called Devoid. Devoid means that card has no color. It costs red mana or black mana, but it's a colorless. See, colorless is usually artifacts, artifact creatures, vehicles from Kaladesh and Aether's Revolt, medallions. There's a lot. This used to be a commander deck. Okay, so I'm trying to build a deck for you guys. I'm throwing red cards and colorless cards in the wrong pile. So I'm trying to build a deck for you guys out of cards here. But this won't be a proper. This will be a proper deck, but the actual full deck isn't here right now. Now I'm thinking about making whatever deck I find here. Now first you need to go through and figure out how much land do you need in a 60 card deck. Depends on what other kind of land you have. See, basic land, but this is still a land even though it's Forgotten Cave instead of a mountain. It's still red land though. Adds a red to your mana pool with cycling. Enters tapped. I mean, cycling's not bad. A playset of this, not bad. Now, I would recommend 23 total land. We'll go with that and to figure out other lands later. Then you have the Planeswalker. Daridi. You gotta look at their abilities to see if you want to put them in there or not. His +2 ability. Discard up to 2 cards. Draw that many cards. Sacrifice his -2 ability. Sacrifice an artifact. If you do, return target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Meaning, let's say you have your artifacts or permanents. Remember that. And you have a ruby medallion and a Jalon Tome, and you have a bunch of red cards in your hand. Ruby medallion gets destroyed, and it makes red spells 1 cheaper as long as it's in the battlefield. So, what do you do in that case? Well, with that -2 ability, you can sacrifice this, get Ruby medallion back. But you lose this, and this adds, and this draws a card, discard a card, no, draw a card, then discard a card. Let's say I use that ability. Let's say I tap that, shuffle this. I don't know why I'm... Draw a card. Here's my hand, metaphorically. And then I draw a card. I don't want this card, discard it. Now I have a hand. A lot of these cards are outdated and work better for Commander is my issue right here. Now, but not all hope is lost. See, let's go through here and find cheap creatures. There's a lot of dragons in here. Full disclaimer on that, I didn't make this deck, I bought it. So, you know, creatures. Now, you can have 4 of any card in a deck in Standard. Doesn't matter if it's you can have, these 3 are all dragons. So, theoretically, you could have 4 of each one, since they're all different dragons. But it's the name that matters. And there's a 4th dragon here, too. That's awesome. Now, you have Felon of the Third Path. I mean, it's only 3 mana for a 2/3 legendary creature. It's a mythic, too. That's a mythic? I didn't know that was a mythic. Cool. So, this is a theoretical deck that would be more casual, but it's a good example of how to build a deck. I wouldn't recommend a playset of him. I'd recommend either 2 or 3, depending on what you want. A playset of him, since he's a legendary, is a bit excessive. But for 2 and a red, after you put him, after the first turn he's in there, you can pay 2 and a red to copy a creature from your graveyard, and it's a token, except it's an artifact as well as its other types. Sacrifice it at the beginning of your next end step. Basically, let's say my second turn I do that and copy my copy a Shivan Dragon. I now have an artifact Shivan Dragon that can fly, and it also gains haste with this card, so I can attack immediately with a Shivan Dragon. So that's a thing that you can do with this. Recommend 2 of him. This is why I'm gonna... I should really write this down somewhere, but you know, me. 23 land. We'll go over different lands later. I'm just going off cards I have here. Full disclaimer, this is not a win-all, be-all deck. None of these cards are allowed in Standard, but I believe they're allowed in Commander. And casual play with your friends. So I may find this deck, put some additional cards in here, and go from there. I'm only making this a 10-minute video. See, then you evaluate your artifacts, your creatures. Like this Soul Ring. Tap it to add 2 colorless to your mana pool. Makes summoning Tyrants familiar or Bolgan Hellkite much easier. Actually, I think I'm going to end this video here. I think I've told you what you need to know about it. But you need to look at creatures. I'd recommend not a lot of creatures. Like maybe 20 creatures. So because you're going to need artifacts, enchantments, and instants too. Now, this is just a guide of how to do it, not what you need to do. What you want is up to you as a player. The main reason I made this video is because I got nothing, because I'm packing right now, so